Welcome, I'm Reverend Jayne Coley, and today's talk is how to stomach being a work in progress. And I want to start with a couple of quotes. The first one is by Albert Einstein, and he says, "Creativity is intelligence having fun." Ernest Holmes, "We should always be breaking down old patterns of thought and creating new ones of a greater vision." And the last quote is unknown. "The creative adult is the creative child who survived." How to stomach being a work in progress. You know, we're always in this state of motion, of movement. We are a work in progress. And often we limit ourselves because of our idea of how we see ourselves. The creative mind, that it's connected to each one of us, every one of us. There's this creative mind, and it's seeking this greater expansion through us. And I've been experimenting with observing my life day to day, saying, what am I creating? And some days I go, wow, look at what I'm creating. And other days I go, my small mind that is, goes, wow, look at what you're creating. How could this have happened to me? It could be something from that mindset of, show me the money, or how could this have happened, or why hasn't it happened already? Again, from that smaller part versus that creative, expansive mind that I'm connected with, that everyone is connected with. And last week I was blessed with this opportunity to recognize the power of the presence of this creative mind in action when I observed my daughter's behavior and my own behavior. And whenever we're stomaching being a work in progress, whether it's myself, my husband, my teens, it is a fine art. And spiritual practice like daily meditation or quieting my mind, they are imperative for getting through these moments, just like the moment that I had with my daughter 2 weeks ago. I booked this trip for her to go visit colleges in Oregon, and unfortunately 25 hours later she looked at the itinerary, and then you have to pay fees because it's past the 24-hour. Anyway, I call up, I change it all to the dates, times that I think she wants, and she still lost it, and she's yelling and screaming and flipping out that it's not what she wants, and she just got madder and madder, and it got messier and messier, and I thought, what the heck? Here I am trying to appease her, and then I realized I was trying to force things. And we have a teenager within all of us that says, I want that result right now. And that week, I took the time to just listen to my daughter, and I listened. What were her concerns about going to college? What were her wows about going to college? And as a result of just being there, I believe we open to a new possibility. And what happened this Sunday, I believe, is a direct result of that listening that I did with my daughter and opening to this creative mind, this new possibility. I received this email, and it said, contact the Frontier Airlines immediately. Call them up, and they said, there's been a change to the time of the flight. And I said, what does that mean? Well, they said, we will actually give you a full refund if you want, if this doesn't work. I put them on hold. I went to my daughter. She goes, yes, please cancel it. And I said, great, I'll just give you $1,000. And what I realized is that I had been interfering with my daughter, and she was a work in progress, you know, and I needed to just get out of the way and listen, because all of her fears came up about traveling out of state and her fears about college, all of it. So by me opening and just listening, we opened to a new result that happened. And there's a quote, that one that I said, that creativity is intelligence having fun, by Albert Einstein. It reminded me that getting that refund was a creative solution. I hadn't even thought about that. Well, we are always, if we notice, there are divine signs where this creative mind is seeking this greater expression. So it's showing us the way. And it's often us that just gets in the way, whether it's me saying, I want this right now. Why isn't my house finished? You know, where's my new vehicle? The key that I'm finding for this, through this experiment, is that when something's not working well, then I need to take note of that and step out of the way. Like, I had 6 cars that I was all ready to go look at. They seemed perfect. They were all different times, different days. And it was like the day that I was all ready to go, or the time I was, oh, I'm sorry, we sold that. Oh, I'm sorry, that shouldn't have been on the web. Oh, I'm sorry, that's already gone. It was just like my daughter who was screaming and saying, I'm afraid of my next step. That's what she should have been screaming. But instead she's like, I hate the way the schedule is. I don't like these times. I don't like these dates. But it shows up sometimes differently. And she was a work in progress, and I was too through the experience. And I'm going to share at the very end the simple meditation I did to keep centered that week while I went through that with my daughter. And by taking that time to listen, each of us opens to this creative mind, which gives these infinite possibilities. In physics, in quantum physics, there's this quantum theory that says that the observer changes the result by just their observing. And Einstein discovered this by having light pass through this slit and when it hits a wall, by the observer, the person looking, it changes the result. So if he saw it as being equal to a wave, it showed up as a wave. If he saw it as equal to that of matter, that's how it showed up. Even when they added a second slit for it to pass through, same thing. It still changed it through the observation. So what does this mean? This means we have the power by observing and by expecting to change the results we're getting. So we have that power. But there is this one catch. And that catch is that our thoughts are so complex and there's so much going on at once, and it really isn't quite as simple as just the conscious mind that's all there is to it, and we just change it and everything changes for us. Therefore, we're always going to be this work in progress every single day, and that changes day to day. And yes, clearing, quietening the mind, that's one way. And so the question is, how do we stomach being the work in progress when we're living it, when we're in it? Many of the ways, like I already said, like quieten your mind, or you can observe from this higher perspective, or I love to go for a walk with my dog. Sleep on it. That's another one. If it happens at night, which it often does, I'm like, I just gotta sleep on it. I need to let this go. Or it could be draw, paint, something creative, or something that brings that childlike part of me alive, where I'll just say, okay, I'm going to the hot springs or the vapor caves, or going to somebody who knows spiritual mind treatment and going to someone who can listen and really be present for you. And then with spiritual mind treatment, then they do a prayer for you and they can know that truth for you. Or observing or listening from a distance. All of these they open us to this creative, expansive mind that's we're all connected to. And it's already seeking greater expansion through each and every person. So let's close by affirming this statement together. I choose to open to the divine creative mind. I choose to open to the divine creative mind. I'm just going to do this simple meditation that I did that week to keep my mind quiet. So think of a funnel as though it's coming right down into your third eye, like a big V, going right up, and it's funneling in all this beautiful sunshine. Just breathe it in all the way down to your tailbone, and then breathe it all the way up like you're filling up with light. Just exhale it out. Breathe it all the way in. Breathe it all the way out, just allowing yourself to fill up with the richness of God. New openings, breathe it in one more time. Letting all that creative mind expand, bringing more life force energy into our body and exhaling it out. Now let us affirm one more time. I choose to open to the divine creative mind. I choose to open to the divine creative mind. Thank you. I love you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.